we'll ask our legal counsel to report out on one case from our study session. Legal counsel, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The case entitled Aguero v. City of Baldwin Park was settled. The city agreed to pay $25,000 to the plaintiff, and that settlement has now been executed and the case is over.
All right, thank you very much, legal counsel. At this point, I'll go ahead and move for adjournment of the study session. That is my motion. Any objections? Seeing none, so move. All right, one more, please. What do I do with my? All right, thank you very much. All right, good evening. At this point, I'd like to open up the Baldwin Park regular meeting. Today is August the 8th, 2019. The time is 7:10. At this point, I will ask Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco to lead us in an invocation, followed by the flag salute.
Okay, if you could all please stand for a moment. And please keep in mind the victims of the mass shootings that have occurred in this country, and let's keep that in our prayer. Lord, help us to be people who matter, not rock stars and movie icons, millionaires and marathon winners. No, Lord, help us to be really important people, the kind of people who help in times of need, the kind of people who appreciate others and make them feel special, the kind of people who teach children to tie their shoes, ride a bike, or catch a crawfish in a stream. You know, the really important things in life. The people who count in life, Lord, are the everyday heroes who show us how to live and love, grandparents, friends, teachers, and neighbors who shape our lives and share their time, their love, and themselves with us. Show us what we can do to change our world for the better and be people who count. Amen.
Amen. At this point, we'll place the flag. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this point, I will ask our city treasurer, Maria Contreras, if they could lead us actually in roll call. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos y bienvenidos. Councilmember Paul Hernandez.
Present.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila. Here. Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco. Present. Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia. Here. Mayor Manuel Lozano.
Present. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, this one, first of all, our condolences goes out to the Gilroy tragedy that happened, and of course, then we have the one that happened in Dayton, Ohio, then also in El Paso, Texas. And it's a shame, but you know what, when we look at something like that, we need to make sure that we continue to pray and that we bring some type of unity to this country, because unfortunately, the person at the White House has literally been divisive to all Americans, and it's a shame that is occurring. So I want to pay our deepest condolences for that. All right, want to also, before I forget, our condolences goes out to an admired author, Ms. Toni Morrison, who I had an opportunity to actually meet back when I was at Cal State Fullerton. African-American who was denied the right to be recognized as an individual and eventually recognized for her writing. She was an author and a fascinating person who I believe brought up a lot of black writers out in the open. Worked for Random House, where she was an editor, and all I have to say, if you get an opportunity to meet, read some of her materials, incredible woman. So our condolences goes out to Ms. Toni Morrison. All right, council members wishing to close on anyone? For anyone? Okay. Real quick, just want to also close on behalf of, I just got a call about 2 hours ago. My aunt, Bene Lozano Lopez, Brownsville, Texas, passed away at the age of 95. A beautiful woman, one of my dad's cousins, so our condolences goes out to my family up in Brownsville, Texas. All right, so at this point, council members, no one else? Okay. So at this point, we do not have any presentations, and so we are going to go into the public hearing. So anyone wishing to speak, you have approximately 3 minutes. Thank you. Good evening. Christina, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff, and residents of Baldwin Park. I'm Christina Larios for LA County Library. I'm here representing Baldwin Park Library. I just wanted to remind everybody that school will be starting soon, and we do have a homework help center at our library. It's open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., Fridays from 2:30 to 4:30, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2:30. So if you have children in the area that need help with their homework, send them our way. Thank you.
Christine, when is your last day?
I'm not sure yet, Mayor.
Well, hopefully you stay. Let us know.
Thank
All right.
you.
We'll leave the light on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on with public communication, you have approximately, your name, and you have approximately 3
Hi,
minutes.
good evening. My name is
Hello.
Judy Seiki. I live in San Gabriel. I'm here to oppose the Planned Parenthood facility in Baldwin Park. Last time I presented 900 signatures from one church. I'm here tonight to present 58 signatures that were taken by one single person, and that's just one person, but if other people took that effort, it's a lot of signatures from people in the circumference of that Baldwin Park Center who do not want Planned Parenthood. Their comment is, we do not want Planned Parenthood to open in our community of Baldwin Park. Planned Parenthood's main mission is to kill unborn babies and to assist youth and young adults in living an immoral lifestyle in which the sexual act is reduced to a mere action of affection. So I will present these signatures to the City Council. And what I would like to say to the City Council is, we realize that the City Council alone, your hands may be tied. However, this is a large city, and you have contacts with the other members of the city who can investigate the different regulations as to how this Planned Parenthood can cease to exist. That is not just a normal clinic. They are killing babies, they are harvesting body parts, they are giving out condoms indiscriminately to young teenagers. These actions are taking place in a neighborhood, near schools, near churches, where children pass by. It is tantamount to a strip club, an adult bookstore. It is in the same category, and it should need a special use permit in order for them to operate. I'm not an attorney, but I would ask you to work with your city attorney and any other individuals who are qualified to investigate this, because the members of the community do not want Planned Parenthood in their city. Thank you for doing that effort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm Donna Camus, and I also have signatures from our church, Immaculate Conception Church in nearby Monrovia. On a single weekend at the Masses, we got 508 signatures. Each one is a statement that these people don't want Baldwin, they don't want Planned Parenthood anywhere near our community, because it's our kids who will be who would be coming over here, for this. And these people know that this facility is not a clinic. It's not a health clinic. It is an abortion facility. Let's be very clear about that. And we just don't want this anywhere nearby. Our kids could be victims of what Planned Parenthood offers. And what it offers is its philosophy and agenda that are really, really harmful. They talk about the sacredness of choice, but really they're not promoting choice. They're promoting their philosophy, which is saying that sex is normal among children and that birth control will always protect, but if it fails, abortion is safe and easy. These are just plain lies. And Planned Parenthood considers sexual activity between young people a good and perfectly normal thing. It's just some kind of recreational activity. This is what is a few blocks away. It's so different from what I know of Baldwin Park and what the schools and families are trying to teach. If you have any doubt about it, they do promote a book for children 10 and older called It's Perfectly Normal. And I opened it. I'm an adult, and it looked pornographic to me, but it's perfectly normal. So this is what is happening, well, we hope will not happen a couple of blocks away. But anyway, just a couple of facts here that that Planned Parenthood really targets teens and adults. And Baldwin Park is a young city among the state. As you know, the mean age is 34. And the people who go to Planned Parenthood on average are 25 and younger. So Planned Parenthood has calculated this. They know that there are a lot of young people here. This is intentional. And also, you need to know that 76% of the people here are Hispanic, and Planned Parenthood was begun by Margaret Sanger, who is the leader of the eugenics movement, which promotes the belief that the human race could be improved if certain people did not reproduce. Let's not make a mistake here. Not all the states report abortions by ethnicity, but those that do report that African American and Hispanic women account for over half of the all abortions, okay? And there are only 30,
All right, thank you very
That's
much,
it.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Hey, you can hand it, City Treasurer, thank you very much. Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Mayor, city
Yes, ma'am.
council members, and members of the community. My name is Linda Oropesa. I'm a longtime resident of Baldwin Park. I mean, like over 30 years, 40 years. I'm here tonight to ask that you do not open Planned Parenthood in Baldwin Park. Although Planned Parenthood may offer other services other than abortion, their primary service is abortion. The other services, such as mammograms, pap smears, birth control, are offered in so many other places. Some places include East Valley Community Health Center in West Covina, East Valley Community Health Center in Covina. There's doctor's offices, there's clinics, there's so many other choices that members of the community have. So I ask that Planned Parenthood not be allowed to open in Baldwin Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council of Baldwin Park. My name is Jorge Pena. It was mentioned earlier that this person is not an attorney. I am an attorney. I'm a member of an organization called Christ the King Law Center. You can Google it. You can find my name. You can find my state bar California website listing. I understand what you guys had probably said earlier. Oh, you can't do this. You can't stop opening this. Well, because the laws of this country don't tie our hands. Is that something that Martin Luther King Jr. said? Or any of the members of the civil rights movement said when they were protesting the unjust laws of segregation in the South? Is that what they said? No. They were willing to fight to change those laws because they recognize, and Martin Luther King Jr. said something. You can Google it and find out. When he was arrested and he was put in a jail in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, he said that an unjust law is no law at all. Any law, and what he meant by unjust law is any law that does not square with the moral law or the laws of God. Now, I'm sure you know the laws of God. I mean, we prayed earlier to God. Can you remember one of those laws? A law called "Thou shalt not kill." And I mean, maybe you'll say, "Oh, well, fine, okay. What can we do? We'll send out the police to stop the Planned Parenthood." Okay, fine, I understand. But you can say something. You can pass a resolution saying we do not accept Planned Parenthood here. It is the position of this city that we don't want them here. Okay, fine. They come in here, they open their clinic, but it's not with our approval. You can do that. You could at least, even if you can't do that, you can come out with a statement and say that. You still have freedom of speech, right? So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear, oh, I can't, my hands are tied. Don't give me that. Okay? I know. You can't lie to me. I know the laws of this country. I'm sure you do as well, counsel, and you know what I'm saying is right. And before I close, I'd like to at least quote something. I know maybe some of you may not be Catholic, but these are the words of Pope Pius XI, encyclical Casti Connubii, paragraph 67. Those who hold the reins of government should not forget that it is the duty of public authority by appropriate laws and sanctions to defend the lives of the innocent, among whom we must mention in the first place infants hidden in the mother's womb. And if you do not do this, remember that God is the judge and avenger of innocent blood, which cried from earth to heaven. I hope you remember that, because no matter how powerful you are, will all die and face the ultimate judge and King of Kings.
All right. All right, good evening. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Judy Greenberg, and I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And I totally agree with what everybody says. I don't want to take away anything, but I just have a request. With all due respect, I would just ask that you please don't open with negative remarks about the president. There are very many people here that are Trump supporters, and we are Trump supporters because we listen to what he says and not what the news says about him. We recognize the news hates him, but we also recognize it's very slanted. There are many, many murders in Chicago also that were black African Americans killed by African Americans. It wasn't mentioned because they couldn't blame Trump. When Columbine happened, when Sandy Hook happened, when the killings in Las Vegas happened, the president, Las Vegas happened during Trump, but the killings, the mass shootings and the mass killings that happened during other presidents, they didn't blame Obama for those things, but they'll take every opportunity to blame Trump. Just please have respect for the supporters. There are reasons that we support Trump. Please don't believe everything the news says because they do lie a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
I'm here today to represent the silent majority. We've heard the term often, let your conscience be your guide. You yourself must ask that question, who do you serve? Who do you represent? What do I think? Let your conscience be your guide. 50 years ago, I moved into Baldwin Park. I served the community. You may not know me or heard of me. Served in many ways because I represent who I live with and where I live, and I have a moral conscience and obligation. We have to trust ourselves that you remember who you represent, who you serve, who are you dedicated to, whether it's morally or a development of that understanding. I have served in many ways, but Hora, Alcencio Hora, one of the graduates from the school 2 blocks from my home, died 1903, the first representative of Baldwin Park in the armed forces to die for service to us. His representative was us. We must remember who we serve with dignity. I speak for that silent majority, those in the womb who have not yet been given a chance to voice their cry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good evening. You can put the mic down. There you go.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Julia Patrón. Me acompaña mi esposo Samuel Patrón. Nosotros somos padres de familia de una hermosa hija. Como todos nosotros, algunos de nosotros tenemos hijos. Y siempre queremos lo mejor para ellos. Si nosotros conociéramos a fondo, como yo he conocido, lo que es Parenthood, una instalación de ese tipo, ninguno de nosotros permitiría que esas instalaciones se abrieran en nuestra ciudad. Lo que ocupan nuestros jóvenes es amor y no odio, no destrucción. El amor construye cualquier situación por los que ellos pasen, así sea una terrible situación de abuso. El amor lo supera todo, y si nosotros queremos realmente a nuestros hijos, es muy necesario que conozcamos a fondo lo que pasa en esas oficinas. Yo he conocido lo que pasa, y créanme que no nada más matan a los bebés, acaban con las vidas de las jóvenes, las cuales se someten a un suplicio horrible allá adentro. destruyen todo lo que pueden tener. Entonces, es solamente yo hablo en representación de aquellos padres que quizás conocen la situación, pero no tienen el tiempo de venir a estas conferencias o esta sala. Entonces, tomo el corazón de cada uno de ustedes, por favor, para que realmente se enteren y sepan lo que pasa en esos lugares donde a nuestras hijas las tratan como animales. La dignidad de la mujer queda por los suelos. No se diga con los bebés, que acaban con las vidas. Gracias por su atención y por favor, abran su corazón. Gracias.
Gracias, thank you. Gracias. All right. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Julia Patron. We are parents of a beautiful young daughter and always want the best for them. If we know in depth what Planned Parenthood is, we would not permit it in this city. Our young ones need love, not destruction, and need our understanding. If we truly love our children, we need to know what occurs in those clinics. They just don't kill babies, they kill young girls' lives. I am representing other parents who cannot be in attendance and letting you know that our women are degraded in those clinics. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that, Lulu. All right, this one.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Patricia, and I'm here to please, would like to know if there's an update of what's going on, if you guys say something regarding Planned Parenthood to the clinic. You guys told us 2 weeks ago that you guys were gonna look into it and find out if there was any way for you guys to stop this. And I understand that they're shooting around the world in our country, and we're praying for those victims, for those families. I'm a mother, and I just picture myself losing my kid or losing my husband, losing a family member. It must be sad. Like you said, you just lost your family member. Even if it's an old, far away family member, it hurts. So if there's somebody dies around you, it hurts, because we have God in our heart, and it hurts. So, and we're talking about killing other people. But you guys are letting Planned Parenthood come into our city. And there's anything else than killing babies. They're gonna kill babies. And what happened to the famous phrase, if you hear something, say something. And if you know something, say something. So you guys are being part of this, witnessing the process that this clinic is doing. And you guys are not doing anything about it. So please, you are the representatives of this city. Please do something. Like we keep telling you, touch your heart. You have family members. You will not take your daughter, your niece, or any family member to have an abortion. This is an abortion clinic, not a health, women's care. So there's a lot of clinics over here, more than 30 clinics in the city. We don't need another one, and especially we don't need an abortion center around here. So please, like Mrs. Patron, touch your heart. I know God is in you guys, so please do something. We don't want this abortion clinic in Baldwin Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es José Mendoza. Tengo poco tiempo viviendo aquí en Baldwin Park, pero soy servidor. Me gusta la ciudad y me gusta involucrarme en lo que es mi comunidad, ¿no? Vamos a rezar normalmente ahí, a orar de una forma serena, de una forma tranquila. Y de repente pasa gente, ¿no? Y nos hace con el dedo así o nos dice que no. Está bien. Pero hace 8 días pasó una muchachita como de unos 20 años, me imagino, en el carro. Y su mirada era de odio. O sea, hizo un ademán muy pesado, ¿no? Y pude ver en su cara odio. No vamos por ejemplo, a tapar el dedo con el sol con un dedo. Sabemos que nuestros hijos están heridos, que la juventud está herida. ¿Por qué? Porque ha habido padres, yo me incluyo, donde no hemos dado amor, un amor absoluto. No nos hemos dirigido con amor a ellos. Ellos tienen heridas. ¿Qué es lo que pasa con estos jóvenes? La herida siempre se va a alimentar del vicio. ¿Por qué? Porque no se sienten valorados, no se sienten importantes. Ellos buscan ser importantes ante alguien. Cuando les ofrecen el vicio, así es como esas heridas las alimentan. Entonces, fácilmente aquí las muchachitas van a ir a hacerse un aborto. ¿Por qué? Porque no conocen del amor. ¿Sí puede traducir?
No, go ahead. Sigue adelante de ahí,
¿Sí?
el final. Yes, thank
Entonces,
you. Appreciate that.
nosotros los adultos tenemos que tomar la decisión de educarnos. La iglesia es un lugar donde nos educa. Y, por ejemplo, yo les voy a comentar de lo que sé. Por ejemplo, nosotros los seres humanos tenemos 3 tipos de conocimiento. Un conocimiento productivo, que es lo más bajo, uno práctico y el otro es contemplativo, según Aristóteles. ¿Qué es lo que pasa aquí? El productivo lo hacemos todo, lo tenemos todo porque trabajamos y llevamos el consumo a la casa. Pero hay uno práctico, que es el de la virtud. ¿Cuánto trabajamos en virtud, en valores, en principios y fundamentos para ser mejores personas y ponerlos a trabajar para la comunidad? Y el contemplativo es el más alto. Es el que captamos de Dios porque es puro razonamiento para ser dirigidos en todo momento con Él. El productivo, como es el que más deja, es el que más llama la atención, pero es el menos valioso. El más importante es el yo dejarme inspirar y obedecer lo que es la sabiduría máxima. Entonces, en la sabiduría máxima me dice, por ejemplo, yo soy religioso, me dices Génesis 2:7. Entonces Dios Yahvé formó al hombre con polvo de la tierra e insufló en sus narices aliento de vida. Yo llevo ahí lo que es inteligencia y voluntad, que es lo que me permite la inteligencia llegar a Dios y mi voluntad con mis actos actuar con el bien. Yo me pregunto a estas personas si sabrán de este conocimiento y si sabrán lo que es ser imagen de Dios. Yo lo dudo. Si no, no actuarían de esa manera. Dejarían de hacer lo que están haciendo. Pero como hay un interés personal, ellos lo que buscan es el productivo, lo que les deja. No les interesa lo que es el valor de la persona. ¿Qué valor tiene el alma para nosotros? ¿Qué es lo más importante? La palabra que voy a usar es inconmensurable. No se puede valorar el alma. Eso solamente la da Dios. Si a Dios se le hace una reverencia por ser Dios, entonces a cada uno de nosotros también se merecen una reverencia y con respeto. ¿Por qué? Porque tenemos cosas de Dios.
Se terminó. The clock's back on, right?
Yeah, because she has to translate it now.
Okay, gracias. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Mendoza. I've been here a little time, or living here a little time, but I'm here to serve, love the city, and love to become involved in my community. Some people make gestures out every day. I saw a young 20-year-old woman who had a look of hatred in her eyes. Our young ones are feeding off of ice and seeking to be important to someone, and these young women are getting abortions. I will comment on what I know. Us humans have 3 types of understanding. There is one that is practical, that is what is called, I guess, your virtue, and the other one is a contemplative, which is the highest. The most important one is letting me understand the highest level of understanding. He made references to Genesis. He also said he has intelligence and has free will. And if we knew what is the value of our soul, we would value our soul, and we cannot do so without these types of intelligence and free will.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Lozano and council members. My name is Frank Ebner, and I too value human life. I think that's a commonality that we can all agree upon. My niece lives in El Paso. Her fiance works in Dayton, and so I reached out to them to make sure they were safe. And we need to help all those that are affected by violence. And violence in the womb, of course, is one of the violences that happens constantly. I would humbly suggest that we offer our condolences to the 250 mothers and fathers of the aborted babies every day here in Los Angeles County. Since we started talking just in the last 30 minutes, another 5 babies have been aborted. If, 250 a day, that's about 10 an hour, 5 every half hour. And last week, or actually a couple weeks ago, Mayor Lozano, you asked, why Baldwin Park? Pretty obvious to me. One, Planned Parenthood wants to maximize profits. So Baldwin Park, real estate is pretty inexpensive compared to San Dimas or West Covina. So for $1.2 million, they can purchase that property and renovate it for a little bit more. So they maximize profits. Two, we are very friendly to our governor. We hosted Gavin Newsom when he was a candidate, and he's very friendly with Planned Parenthood. He increased in the California budget $10 million as soon as he was elected governor, and he proposed it. It was passed by our state Senate and Assembly. 3, Planned Parenthood targets minority communities. 80% of our Planned Parenthoods in the United States are brown and black communities. Why not Baldwin Park? Maximize profits. It's a friendly city. It's a black and brown community. And you get customers. These services that are roughly almost free, hand out condoms. If that doesn't work, then an abortion. Abortion pill the first trimester, according to Planned Parenthood, $1,000. That's a pretty good profit. How much does a condom cost? I don't know, less than a few dollars. Doesn't work. Now you got a profit of $1,000. It's kind of like the dentist saying, you know what, we're going to clean your teeth and just pick up some candy on the way out. And guess what? You get a cavity, we can fix it. You got to have a root canal, we'll fix it. For a lot of money, maximize profits. So why Baldwin Park? Maximize profits, friendly community, black and brown minority community. It's simple. Why not Baldwin Park? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Excuse me, we only allow one time. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Hello, City Council, Baldwin Park residents. Number 1, interpreter is supposed to stand up here, interpret, have the person say a little bit, interpret. What the lady says, nothing what the person said. Sorry to say. Mayor, if you want to run a city council right, do it right, or don't do it at all. Mayor, how are you going to pay the $64 million that you guys borrowed to pay for your so-claimed health and welfare and so on and so on? Oh, I know. You're going to have this lady over here find somewhere along the cheating line of politics an assessment. You guys do that every damn year. I've been coming here for maybe 7 years or something. Every year, the same thing. We're going to throw this assessment on you Baldwin Park residents, because that's the easiest way for this cheap government to run. Instead of hire businesses to come in so that we can get money from them, no, first thing you do is you give the land to them. Second thing you do, you give them tax breaks. The third thing you do is you don't do anything to collect anything. The marijuana situation is a big joke for you guys, and I'm glad it looks like a joke. But that's okay. We'll throw an assessment on all the taxpayers. You've yet, any of you, come up and say anything about how much money we make or how much money we spend. You don't really care to tell us. But as far as the interpreter goes, Mayor, you're all wrong. If I was the lawyer, I'd have a talk with you. But I know he's part of you, so it doesn't matter. The rest of you people that live in Baldwin Park, you're going to get a tax assessment again, because that's the only way this city can pay its taxes. Plus $64 million. That's a chunk of money, Mayor. Are you going to borrow that again to pay off the next installment? I like the way you look at me like saying, it's none of your business. Well, I'm a resident, and I got all the right to speak about anything I want. And number 1 is you. Number 2 is the rest of your city council. get off your lazy butts and get out there and take care of this city. The new intersections that you guys put in on Fraser, you're making a nightmare for the fire department, police department, the ambulance service, or even a darn ambulance that has to go in there and pick up a retired person or something. This city's on a fixed income, Mayor. $64 million. Where in the hell are you going to pay it? I know. We won't tell anybody. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Carol Daly. I grew up in Baldwin Park in the 50s, graduated from St. John the Baptist. Baldwin Park has come a long way, and it's got so many beautiful developments in it. The Planned Parenthood clinic would not be a good mark on it. When we first started this meeting, we started with a blessing. We paid tribute to Miss Morrison, I think it was,
Yes,
that
that's right.
was into civil rights. And you spoke about, I think it was your aunt that died at 95. As a Catholic Christian, we believe in the sanctity of life from the first conception until the last breath of natural life. When you're making decisions, I'm sure that when you're doing your jobs, you want to do as much research as you can. There's a movie that came out, it's called Unplanned, and it tells the story about a young woman that started out and she had great hopes of what Planned Parenthood could do. She started volunteering or working there. And she became so good at her job because she thought she was helping people as a clinic. And one day she moved to an executive position or director of a clinic. And one day she was called in to help the doctor because they were short-staffed. And she saw what really went on. And after that, she left her job and she changed her way. She's an advocate now against Planned Parenthood, and she's pro-life. And I urge you to see that movie. It's called Unplanned. In 2001, in Monrovia, where I live, at the corner of Myrtle and Huntington Drive, they built a Planned Parenthood clinic, brand new building. It was sitting on a lot, center of our town. From the time the clinic was being built, prayer vigils went on out in front of it on the corner, morning, noon, and night. Families would go, many, many prayers went up. The clinic never opened. The clinic was bulldozed. All life matters. All life matters. Don't let the Planned Parenthood clinic open in your city.
Thank you.
I need a translator. I want Avila to translate for me.
Okay, go ahead and you could speak,
Okay.
and then we'll go ahead and allow her at the end. Go ahead.
Sure.
Oh, you want, okay, that's fine, Alejandra, thank you.
Name John Rios, a resident of Baldwin Park.
John Rios, residente de Baldwin Park.
One of the things that I want to bring up, and starting from the beginning, is I went to breakfast the other morning on Puente and Little Ramona, and the smell of weed just hit me from that building that's in front of it.
Lo primero que quiero mencionar es que una mañana fui a desayunar en la calle Puente y Ramona y lo primero que olí fue la marihuana.
Yo pensaba que tenían servicio 24 horas por día de seguridad.
I thought they had 24-hour security service.
Platicando con los policías me dijeron que no está.
Speaking to the police, they told me that they didn't.
Platiqué con el señor Taro y él me dijo lo mismo.
I spoke to Mr. Toto and he said the same.
Okay. Otra cosa que quiero reclamar es que los ciudadanos mayores como yo, que vamos al Morgan Park allí a pasar la tarde o en la mañana, a las 2 de la tarde están cerrando el senior citizens.
I also want to mention that residents my age, when we go to Morgan Park, that they're closing Morgan Park at 2 o'clock.
Los ciudadanos de allí, de allí que platiqué con ellos, me dicen que para las 2 de la tarde se tienen que salir porque está rentado el lugar para una zumba.
The citizens that go there, they tell me that they close it because that area is rented for Zumba.
Otra cosa es que el tiempo que lo sacan a las personas de allí es el tiempo que está haciendo más calor.
Another thing is the time that they take them out of Morgan Park, it's when it's the hottest.
Okay. Y el fin de semana, que debe ser Morgan Park y el Barnes Park, allá deben tener abierto cuando ahí está haciendo mucho calor y no está abierto.
And on weekends, when it's really hot, Morgan Park and Barnes Park, it's when it should be maintained open when it's extremely hot.
No están dándole servicio a los ancianos como yo. No tienen compasión contra nosotros. Ustedes lo único que les importa, que ustedes van allá, les dan su habladita y ellos piensan que ahora está bien, pero no, ya están cansados.
You are not providing services to the elderly like myself. All you're doing is going and talking to them and just getting attention, pretty much.
Otra cosa que quiero reclamar también es que Gutiérrez, platiqué con él hace como va a ser un mes que le dije que estaban unos couches ahí en la Bass, ahí cerquitas del water plant que está allí.
I also want to tell you that I talked to Mr. Gutierrez that there's some couches on Best by the water plant.
No los he levantado y también le dije que la Bass pegado al parque de Kaiser es un cochinero.
They haven't been picked up. I also told them that the street Best by Kaiser, it's a mess.
Es vergüenza por los carros que pasan por ahí o la gente que va por allí. Están mirando lo peor y no debemos hacer eso. Eso debe ser, como dicen ustedes todo el tiempo que hablamos a las oficinas, keep Baldwin Park beautiful.
It is embarrassing for the people that are going by there and the cars that are going by there. We're supposed to, tenemos que mantener a Baldwin Park hermoso.
Sí. Una de las cosas que ustedes deben comprender que cuando vengo a hablar no nomás hablo por mí, hablo por la comunidad que está a un lado de mí. Una de las cosas que hemos estado mirando, no lo están dando el apoyo ustedes. Una cosa que ustedes deben hacer.
One thing you need to understand is when I speak here, I'm not just speaking for myself, but I'm speaking for the residents. I don't feel you're giving us the support.
Esa es una cosa que la gente pues no viene a las sesiones. Les pregunté también de preferred parking para la área esa porque hay muchos apartamentos ahí y ya nadie se puede parquear. Lo mismo que hicieron con el señor Lozano, acá donde vive él.
One thing is that they don't come to the sessions. I also want to discuss the preferred parking. There's no parking in the area, just like there wasn't any by Mr. Lozano's place.
Una de las cosas que sí he mirado que los oficiales que han estado abajo el guardio de Johnny sí hacen respond. Ahí, antier les llamé porque estaba un pleito en la pura esquina de ahí donde vivo yo. A los 2 minutos todavía había 3 carros.
What I am noticing is that the officers that are now under Mr. Patino is that they are responding because I did make a call and they immediately responded.
Ustedes deben comprender que nosotros ya estamos cansados.
You need to understand that we're tired.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rios. All right.
Javier Vargas, 14129 Ohio Street. Just want to thank the City Council and the Police Department and the Parks and Recs for a great National Night Out last night. Also, the concerts in the summer. Looking forward to the concerts in the street. And also, the other day, I got a message on my phone that the San Gabriel Valley Tribune posted that there's 2 cases of the virus, the West Nile virus in Baldwin Park. I was hoping maybe you guys could look into maybe sending something to the residents, notifying them to, if their pools are not full, to empty them all the way, or fountains that they have, or standing water, so we won't have a bigger problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, anyone else wishing to speak on a public communication? All right, I now declare the public communication closed. First of all, let me address the Planned Parenthood, as was mentioned by the group that's here. And we obviously have an explanation for the individuals that are here. And yes, I'm glad that the individual that came up here that quoted me, why Baldwin Park? And I hear his statistics, even though they're a little off as far as the population is concerned. However, the main theme, we approached them, and of course, we suggested that, for one, let me just go back, excuse me. I'm appalled, for one, that they placed the actual place right across the street from a church, and I mentioned that at the last time. I mean, it's just, I don't know where that particular thought came from them just going there. We did direct that we approach the Planned Parenthood to see if they were interested in purchasing the actual structure itself. And of course, they're not interested in selling the actual dwelling. Of course, they've continued on with their construction. I mean, short of, and I believe that we did say whether we could look to see if we could propose housing, affordable housing there, and then eminent domain could possibly be used, but that would be a major cost. And I think that we partially, I think, agreed upon looking into that possibility. So I don't know if we could entertain that and see if there is a developer that would be interested in the actual development. However, I believe that the city would have to purchase the actual parcel. Am I correct? Legal counsel?
If you were going to invoke eminent domain, Mr. Mayor, yes, the city would have to purchase it. And the eminent domain laws have changed significantly in California over the last few years. A city can no longer eminent domain property in order to give it to another private person or private developer. So there would be significant hurdles to doing that plan, even in the best case scenario.
Well, let me ask you, legal counsel, even if it's for low to moderate housing, because I thought it would fall under that.
You are correct, Mayor. If there is a low-income housing component from the development, depending on the percentage of the low-income housing, you can use eminent domain because that's considered a public purpose. So for any public purpose, like low-income housing, parks, green space, things of that nature, you can still eminent domain, but you can no longer eminent domain to make a shopping center or an auto mall or anything like that.
I see. And then I guess we would probably be looking at the cost factor. A gentleman just mentioned right now, I don't know if that's the actual price of that parcel, 1.2 million. What was can we look into what the actual cost was on that parcel? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. We'll look at that. I mean, let's approach them one more time. Of course, the city itself has to be careful as to what it does and the expenditures of what it would cost ultimately. But go ahead, legal counsel. You were going to say?
Yes, the city can explore that possibility, Mayor, and just get information from the property owner about whether they're willing to sell.
Okay.
Mayor, if I
Yes.
may, I
Yes, sure,
agree, maybe we can look into, and we have been looking into low to moderate housing, if we can go that route. I know we had some information given to us on
Oh,
like
yeah.
Hollywood Housing, for example, that is willing to look to come into Baldwin Park because that's a project that we are working on. So why not look into that property first to make sure that we take care of it?
So at this point, direction's been given, and I guess we'll wait for the, to see what we can do in that perspective. Okay? And again, I guess for me is the fact that it's right across the street from a church. I mean, they just came here and simply said, we're going to establish it right next to a church. I mean,
It's
my God.
across from a church, down the street
Yes.
from a convent, and
Right.
down the street from a Catholic
Right.
church. So it's,
So
no
it's obvious.
matter where you put it, it's a bad place.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And I hear you, but just the mere fact that it's a slap in the face to the Pentecostal church that's right next to it, so, all right. Yes,
May I
you're
just
right.
may
Yes,
just
go ahead.
make some remarks here? I think that, I know wherever Planned Parenthood goes, it just carries a bad stigma, a bad name. They're always very negative, and they don't really bring any, I think I have difficulty accepting them here, but they were able to buy a property that was already zoned for medical use, and we're a medical clinic. Now, having said that, though, I know that at the same time they were coming in, the city's looking at doing affordable housing in that area. At our last council meeting, we looked at 3 proposals to look at that. Happens to be that it was right where Planned Parenthood was looking at it, and so I guess the city was a little late in doing our proposals. We got them in, but our Councilwoman Alejandra did suggest at the last council meeting that one of the developers start to look into using that as affordable housing. I think we need more affordable housing for families and veterans, and our, single moms, single fathers to be able to use that area. And we were looking at the clinic there, the Planned Parenthood clinic, and next door there was a couple of businesses and possibly even further down to where that car wash is. So that whole area would be developed and become a part of the affordable housing plan. So I think that's, I know that the city has tried, but I think we need to maybe try a little harder to come up with a plan and really push for that. I think we could use more affordable housing than another Planned Parenthood clinic. I think that there are, and someone else pointed out, and I did look, we do have a lot of clinics that have, health for families, women and men, and having another one is just not going to help. I agree with a lot of you there. So I think if you continue to come here and propose that we do affordable housing in the city, continue with Alejandra's plan to do that affordable housing project there, I think that's great. I'm a father of 2 daughters. I have a son. My son's 8 years old. My daughters are 25 and 22. Thank God I had them. My daughter's a vice principal for a Catholic school at St. Raymond, and my other daughter just graduated in psychology from St. Thomas in Minnesota, and so she's just graduated and looking for a job. And so I think, we need to continue to have children and make sure that these are the future. These are the ones that are going to provide for the future doctors, future, engineers, lawyers, mothers and fathers and parents and grandparents. So, it's a misnomer, Planned Parenthood, well, it's not really planned. I mean, they're ending families. They're not planning families. And so I don't agree with their philosophy. I think we should have more maternity wards to have more children and just support life, support the women that, that feel they don't want to have a child. They want to be a community that's more supportive, provide more supporting roles for them. And there's a lot of other issues that can't address here, but we need to provide more support for women that want to have children and those that want to have families. So hopefully thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Ricardo Pacheco. Right. So at this point, I'm going to go, yes.
Sorry, if you don't mind.
Yes, Councilmember Paul
Thank you very
Hernandez.
much.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, I just want to again thank and recognize our Rec and Parks Department for putting on a fantastic Pride of the Valley 5K race this past
right.
Saturday. Close to over 700 participants were out there, including many of us, along with some of our members in the community, such as the Vargases. Thank you very much, and for supporting that event. Again, we want to thank the chief and all of his civilian and sworn staff for all the work that they put in, along with the Baldwin Park School District for the National Night Out last night. There were several hundred, close to maybe 1,000 plus young individuals receiving essential school supplies, getting them ready for, I believe, next week is when school starts for them.
The 15th.
The 15th. And then unfortunately, a couple of our individuals that I wanted to certainly make sure that they were aware of this, but as of this evening, in regards to the cannabis, they mentioned that we don't speak about some of the revenues, but if my understanding is correct, I believe as of tonight, we received close to $1.3 million in new revenue based on income that the city council has, proactively took a very strong stance with the cannabis industry. So because of that, we now have about $1.3 million.
Actually, it's more like 1.8, right? It's almost 2.
For the total fiscal
Yeah.
year, yeah.
2 point something.
2.8,
Yeah.
but based on the actions that we did as of what we did earlier in the month and the deadline
About
of
2
July
point something
22nd, and now about 2 million? Okay.
Yes.
We'll round it over then. So we want to do that. And again, I just also want to thank Mark Ramos, our president, with UFCW, who's also with the United Food and Commercial Workers, for all his work that he's been doing on, making sure that the cannabis industry throughout, the state and here in Baldwin Park have fair and good-paying jobs. And again, I am certainly with you in your solidarity and your support with the grocery, efforts that you're doing over with Kroger's and others. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. All right, at this point, yes, Vice Mayor? Oh, that's fine. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the consent calendar. Council members wishing to pull any items out. We have items 1 through 5.
May I
Oh, yes.
approve items 1 through 5 if nobody's going to
Yeah,
pull items?
well, actually, I'm going to pull out item number 5.
Yeah.
So I need to recuse myself, since I own property in this particular area. So I will go ahead and hand it over to the Vice Mayor.
Why
I'll go
don't
ahead
you
and step
stay
out.
here for items 1 through 4?
Yeah, 1 through 4, yes. At this
And
point,
I'll-
make it was motion by Councilman Ricardo Pacheco, items 1 through.
1 through 4.
Correction, 1 through 4.
Okay,
Any
I'll
objections?
second.
Okay, any objections? Seeing none, so move. At this point, I'll go ahead and recuse myself. Thank you.
Okay. So,
I want to thank all of you for coming. Appreciate it. Great. Thank you.
it's definitely a need in our community, for sure. Okay, yeah. Okay. I know. I think it's important to talk about what's real, right? Okay, so item number 5, adopt a resolution number 2019-042, resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park, California, establishing a preferential parking zone on the 14,000 through 14,001 blocks of Ohio Street, and I'll make the motion to approve this.
I second.
Okay, are there any objections? Seeing none, the item passes, and we can bring the mayor back. You can come back now, Mayor. Where are you? No, we're gonna, you know what? Should we just go ahead and move on to item number 6, just to keep
Yeah, I
moving
think
here?
so.
Okay, so we're moving on to reports of officers. And item number 6 is ratify and adopt an urgent resolution to approve the appointment of a retired annuitant for a critical vacant housing manager position and certify that the 180-day wait period be waived under Section 752256 of the California Code of Regulations.
I second that motion.
Okay, do we need to open the hearing?
We don't. It's
Okay.
just required that this be on report of officers by PERS, and this person will be brought in in the absence of the housing manager to manage, and also more importantly, to evaluate the program and report back to the city council, make sure we're following best practices. And I think the council asked us to look at the Section 8 program that we administer for other cities and evaluate that also.
Okay, so Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco made the motion to approve, and I'll
approve, please.
second. And so any objections? Okay, the item passes, and then we move to item number 7, Mayor. Now
I'd
that
like to
you're
go
back.
ahead and move this over to September.
I
That's my
second.
motion. Second. Any objections? See none, so moved. Thank you, Vice Mayor Monica Garcia from El Paso. All right, so let me see. All right, so at this point, yeah, City Council.
Mayor, if I
yes.
can just have, I know last meeting I requested some information on Hollywood housing. If you can just update us in the community of what you have done, please?
Mayor and council members, thank you. Yes, we did meet with Hollywood Housing on July 18th. Our staff at Community Development met with Ms. Sarah Letts, the executive director, and her staff. We had a productive discussion about affordable housing in Baldwin Park. Hollywood Housing has developed over 29 properties, serving currently over 2,000 people with 951 units throughout LA County, and they offer a variety of supportive housing services, both themselves and also through other expert providers. So we did have a good discussion with them. We talked about the affordable housing opportunities in the city, and that we both agreed to look for a suitable property to pursue such a development. So it was an excellent discussion. And I had met them before personally, worked with them in another city in a previous career, and they did an excellent project. It was right next door in the city of El Monte.
Let's bring them to a study session, kind of go over some of their stuff.
Yes,
What do you
bring,
think?
and then maybe we can ask them to look into that property where Planned Parenthood is planning to go, so we can do low to moderate income.
And if there's any other I'm sorry, are you done?
Thank you for that. I know you've been working on this, and it was hard to get them to meet with you, and I appreciate you actually getting them here. And yes, if we can get them in a study session, I'd greatly
Yes,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, so at this point, council members have anything to share before we?
Yeah, first, if staff could look at also other developers, so we have different developers, we could take a look at that. And also, I want to thank our police department, who brought together the school district police, the water district, and it was a good showing in the business, who came together and did a really nice event for the police coming out night. You guys did a great job. Actually, that location, I know it's new, we were at the Target doing our night out for the police department, but now we moved it to the Food for Less, and it just kind of came out to be a better location because the, what is it? Grocery outlet. The shading came out really nice toward the end of the event, kind of covered half the lot. A lot of people, a lot of kids. I just handed to you guys, did a great job, so applause and kudos to you guys for heading that up, and good job. Also, our Parks and Rec, you guys continue to do that, our street fairs and such, so you guys are doing a great, and thanks Public Works, you guys are moving on that, my pet peeve out there on underneath the bridge of Puente Avenue, all the upgrades there, hopefully they continue to do that, and staff continues to improve and continue the landscaping that they're doing on that area. So with that, thank you, and thanks for those individuals that came out here to express your opinion. We really appreciate it, and just continue to support these. The other area for when we talk about housing, just so you kind of know how it works, is once the plans start, they go through our planning commission, and that's where these plans begin to come through. And it's just good to show the planners. There's another group of citizens that are selected by the city council to sit on a planning commission, and they have their meeting just in the same room in here, and they'll be talking about those plans. So it's good that if these do happen to come to fruition, that you guys come out and show support for those projects that come in. And we'll make sure that our staff, I know it's difficult, these types of projects are complex, and there's a lot of legalities involved, but we have a very good city attorney, and I'm pretty sure he can get through all those nuances. Thank you, sir.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
also want to thank, National Night Out was wonderful. I unfortunately didn't get to walk. I got out of work late.
Okay, but you were
But it
there.
was very nice. I believe this time I got to see more officers there that I've ever seen. There were some officers there I've never actually even seen because I learned they usually work the night shift, and they actually were there, and to me, they were new guys, but they weren't, because I had never seen them because they're out on patrol while we're sleeping. It was a wonderful event. Thank you, Chief Patino. You guys all did a wonderful job putting it together, and everybody else that helped put this together. I tried to get a ride on the helicopter, but I was told that I would take it over the weight limit, but that's okay. I had to say it.
80
But
pounds.
it was a wonderful event. I want to thank Senator Rubio, did come at the end of the
Oh, she did.
evening.
Good.
She presented certificates, which I have.
Thank you.
And also the Office of Assembly Member Rubio was also there.
Oh, cool.
It was a beautiful event. Public Works is doing an excellent job. I think all of the staff is actually doing their best. I know there's a lot that we throw at you at times, and we call you for this and that, and I know you are doing your best, and I greatly appreciate it, as I'm sure the residents do too. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank you, Chief, and thank everyone for participating as well. So we look forward, and at this point, if no other council members have anything to say, I will now move for, for the closing of the city council.
Tomorrow, remember, at
Concert.
the Down Street Market. Don't forget, be there.
That's right. All right. So at this point, I'll make a motion for adjournment. Second. Any objections? See none. So at this point, good evening, everyone, and viva Baldwin Park.